If I told you the Adani Group is losing millions by the minute, it won't be an understatement because that's what's happening.
Help me! Help me!
The market capital of all the Adani Group companies has lost $100 billion in 6 days. It blew my mind when I saw the freefall created by these candlesticks.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
Gautam Adani is now the 16th richest in the world, and many of us have lost our savings. Funny how that works. It was all because a group of short sellers called the Hindenburg Research woke up one day and chose violence, and the fire they started is causing havoc. In short, they published a detailed and credible report covering some alleged scams and questionable practices by the Adani Group. By the way, in the previous video, I explained who Hindenburg is and the report in simple words. So check it out. Now let's dive quickly into what has happened the past week because of that report. And it's super fascinating. First off, the enterprise released something called Follow on Public Offer or FPO some weeks back. It might sound fancy, but let me explain it to you in simple terms. When a company needs money, it can go either for an IPO or FPO. IPO is when they issue new shares for the first time and get listed on a stock exchange for the first time. The recent Paytm IPO is an example. In FPO though, a company already in the stock market issues new shares to new or existing investors. Unlike IPO, the purpose of FPO is to reduce debt while raising additional capital for expansion. Companies issue FPO shares lower than the prevailing market price to attract people. So, Adani Group came up with India's largest FPO for 20,000 crores. But there came a twist. The FPO underperformed horribly. It was priced at 3,112 to 3,276 per share. But because of the Hindenburg report, the price of the original existing shares itself fell to 2,135 as of February 1st. So, why will I subscribe to FPO when I can get the existing shares itself at a much cheaper rate? Now, despite that, the FPO was oversubscribed by 112% in the last few days, largely because of the help from institutional buyers, which by itself looks suspicious. I'm still trying to understand why they did it. The funny thing is, that's not even the best part. Gautam Adani cancelled the entire IPO. He is returning all the money. He released a statement saying,
"But considering the volatility of the market seen yesterday, our board strongly felt that it would not have been morally correct to proceed with the FPO."
Bad things. It's a lot of bad things.
now can things go from bad to worse? Well, in this case, it can. One of the main reasons that the stocks fell on February 1st and 2nd is because of Credit Suisse and Citigroup. They are two big banks which financed Adani's debt. We all know that most of Adani's operations are financed by debt, right? Well, it's almost 2 trillion. What would happen if that lifeline gets pulled? Credit Suisse and Citigroup stopped giving loans to the company. Why? Well, the collateral for all those loans was Adani stock itself, which is currently at rock bottom and under great scrutiny. Credit Suisse plans to sell all the existing shares with them to get back the previous loan amount, according to certain reports. Now, when a few banks start to sell collateral, the ripple effect will lead other banks to do the same because banks lend to each other. For instance, SBI lent 2.6 billion and LIC lost nearly 19,000 crores in 2 days because of the fall. Hopefully, things don't spiral further out of control. Okay, can things get any worse than this? Oh yes, they can. Global index S&P Dow Jones Indices said it would remove shares of Adani Enterprises from widely used sustainability indices on February 7th, which will make shares less attractive. NSE has placed an additional surveillance measure or ASM on shares of Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports and Ambuja Cements, which means the stocks are subject to many stringent rules. Among many things, they cannot be pledged for loans. NSE also has Adani Ports and Ambuja Cements under futures and options ban on Friday. So what's going to happen? Will the stock get crushed or bounce back? Let me give arguments for both sides so that you can decide. The main factor that can lead to further fall of Adani stock is the SEBI investigation. So, during that investigation, high volatility and uncertainty are terrible for the growth of the stock. And in the investigation, if any murky truths come out, it can prove extremely deadly. Even now, if some banks start selling Adani holdings because they need money, get ready because the stocks will hit a lot of lower circuits because of that. On the other side, it is unlikely for the stocks to go non-existent because most of the shares, almost 75%, are held by the Adani group themselves. So they can theoretically limit the fall. And if they are controlling the investment corporations that have their stocks, they can definitely do it. At the same time, it is unlikely for banks and institutions to sell all their holdings because it is a loss for them to sell now at such a low price. On top of that, Adani Group is not bad from the operations and business viewpoint, meaning their business is rock solid with their investments in ports, infrastructure, energy trade, media and cement. Their business is actually fantastic. At the same time, they have a lot of good contacts and relationships, especially with the government, which could help them get out of this without severe damage. If you ask me which side is most likely, I lean a bit more towards the second one. I do think this won't be the end of Adani. They might receive severe punishment and penalties. Their stock may fall further also. But because of their businesses and contacts, I believe they will rebound. They possess too much to go into oblivion. Nevertheless, I believe it will take years for that rebound. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.